The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Greetings and welcome to another episode of Bermuda's Feel Good Early Morning Show. Good day, Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert, and we want to thank you for getting up early with us today. Jackie, how are you feeling on this Monday morning? The weekend is over. It's a new work week. How are you feeling?
Glorious. No, seriously, I feel great, guys. I'm so excited to be back here with you.
I love to hear it. And looks like Sean Smith is in here with us. Good morning to you, Sean Smith. Audience, as you are joining us, let us know how you're feeling on this Monday morning. As you can see, both Jackie and I are ready to bring you some feel good vibes this morning. Make sure that you share this episode with your circle. So take a minute if you're watching on Facebook to share the link. For those of you on YouTube, make sure you drop the link in a WhatsApp group chat. It could be your favorite one or that one that you don't really talk in unless something important comes your way.
And to all of important.
We're very important. All of our tweets over there on Twitter, make sure you retweet it because Jackie has a saying that she loves to say when it comes to this.
Sharing is caring, kids.
Sharing is absolutely caring. And so our feel good topic of the day, we're speaking with another Bermudian success story. We have B.L.A.C or B.L.A.C backstage, and we will be discussing what it's like to be a music artist and to develop your own sound. We also have our feel good vibe of the day. We're back with Joke Time with Jackie. We did make a little switcheroo last week, Friday, but we are back with the jokes. So if you want to get your morning started, make sure you stick around for that later on. Now, we want to start today's episode with our feel good warm up. And if there's one place you can get lost in when it comes to Bermuda and the Triangle, it's Bermuda Twitter. Whether it's right or wrong, one thing Bermudians will do, we will get behind each other and we will defend our 21 square mile island home. It really doesn't matter what the topic is. You will usually see Bermudians jump on someone. And somebody's son from, I want to say the Caribbean. I don't want to misspeak and say what country he's from because you couldn't tell on his Twitter account. But he basically went on to a rant with a Bermudian about the language we speak. So we have a really simple question for you this morning. What language do we speak here in Bermuda? Is it the Queen's English? Is it regular English? Or is it patois? Because apparently we don't know what we speak. Apparently we don't know what we speak in Bermuda. So we want to see what you think the language is that we speak here in Bermuda. So Jackie, you actually had a little response to the person. So, sure.
I was very nice about it too. So just to be clear, because a lot of people think... a lot of people react. Bermuda Twitter can be very vicious. And I was just very, probably PC about it. It started off with a girl saying that, I don't know if you saw it, Collie Buds. So I was just like, your favorite cultural appropriation. And she was just like, a white guy born in Louisiana. And it was Collie Buds. And so somebody was just like, yes, he may have been born in Louisiana, but his mom, his family, his entire, family was born and raised in Bermuda, and then he was born in Louisiana. He was raised in Bermuda. Right. So it was just, the interaction was funny. And then this guy came out of nowhere on somebody. It wasn't even his thread to start with. And he was just like, how is basically trying to say that it's not cultural appropriation but he was at the same time saying that Bermudians speak patois. And I was just like, the Jamaicans that live in Bermuda speak patois, but last I checked, we speak English and sarcasm.
We speak fluent sarcasm at that.
Fluent sarcasm. So I was just like, I just had questions like, have you met a Bermudian? If so, like, have you ever been to Bermuda? No? Okay. Have you ever met and interacted with a Bermudian? If so, Adam, because I want some questions. Like, because, you know, we could be sarcastic when people say, hey, what languages do you speak in Bermuda? You don't speak Spanish? What's your language? And people will be like, I don't speak English, I speak patois, or I don't speak English, I speak Spanish. But you're speaking straight English, and people are so gullible because, like, they think that we live in tree huts and stuff. So it's easy to be sarcastic, and we're so sarcastic, we're so good at it that people think that we're like being honest and serious. Exactly. So that's why I wanted to know who he had interacted with, so that they can come to the defense of saying like, yeah, I was just joking, bruh. You speak English. And so I was just like, if you said no to the above questions, then I suggest you sit in the corner to be seen and not heard, which is something we were raised to do. Be seen and not heard when adults are talking.
And clearly he was a child hopping into the Bermudian adult conversation, and he got lashed. And
if you don't know, you need to be educated. If you need to be educated, you should be quiet, because you take on way more when you're listening and not speaking.
And I think so. I want to bring in this coming from Carlton Fleming. He says, I work in London, and when my coworkers have a hard time understanding me, I remind him I speak the Queen's English. So it looks like Carlton believes we speak the Queen's English. And I honestly,
we just speak fast.
I personally really didn't like, separate between the Queen's English and English, because to me, it's the same. I understand the Queen's English. There is like, some, I guess, sentence structures or phrases that we use, and then you spell it a different way, right? But generally, yes, it's English. And what was striking to me from reading the thread and like just reading people's responses was how he doubled on. Like, he would double down on some of his tweets, and then like your point, like in one of the tweets there was the oxymoron. Like, you're saying one thing, but it's the other thing. Like, you're saying we speak English, but we speak patois, but you're saying patois is a language. It's not a language. Like, what?
And then you say we speak broken English, and I'm just thinking about all of us.
Oh yes, it was broken English that he said, not specifically patois. He said we speak broken English.
Yeah, no, he said both. He said broken English and patois. He said both. If you go back to the one that I replied to, it says we don't speak broken English and patois, which is funny because we don't not speak patois, but we don't speak it as a language. It's just like a filler.
Mm-hmm. And I think
if that makes sense. So we have certain words, and we know where to put those words,
right?
Because it's like, grammatically correct. You want to put and which is crazy that we are making sure that even the grammar's correct, which is part of
English. What's really interesting though, because like patois is considered like a separate language, where I think Bermudians have a dialect. And I just want to bring this comment from Sean Smith. He says, we speak Bermudian, which is a combination of the UK, American, and the Caribbean. Like, Bermudians have a dialect, and so there is definitely that difference in the sentence structure, to your point. Mm-hmm. But it's also, like you said, we do know some patois words. We do understand the definition of it, how to use it in a sentence. So for me, it's more of a dialect that Bermudians speak, but it's the language that it's based on is English. So it was really, when he said broken English though, because broken English implies that you speak another language first and you're trying to learn English, and because you don't understand the sentence structure and how certain words are supposed to go, and you're supposed to have the verb agreement and preposition and all of that stuff, it's broken because in your language you don't have these certain structures. And I was just like, sir, I was sitting and I was just like, telling Bermudians what they speak. I just think when he doubled on and it was Bermudians responding, I was just like, you should just let it go. Like the other guy, because there was another guy that had said something about Bermuda and never met a Bermudian. And eventually he was like, I didn't think it was going to get this bad. And he just kind of like bowed out gracefully. This guy, whew.
Like, it just shows that so many people can't take accountability, I guess you can say, because at some point when you realize that you're wrong, you gotta be like, oh, I was trying to say that, like, he could have been coming to our defense, but when we come back and we're like, hey, just to let you know you're wrong, because I was looking at how he was interacting with the girl, like,
no, he was getting,
you're lying, and lying causes you to get pimples on your tongue, and that's where I came in. I'm just like, sir, have you met a Bermudian? Have you been to Bermuda? Like, because you're interacting with a Bermudian that's telling you nicely that you're wrong. Like, she wasn't even being rude. Like, she was trying to save you from embarrassment. And then you wanted to go at her harder. All right, bet.
Because all she had to do was say Bermuda Twitter.
She
please,
did.
and that's all it
She was
took.
just like, oh, Bermuda Twitter's going to have fun with you.
And they did.
And we did.
Rightfully so.
It was like, I had a good giggle at his responses to some people. Like, you're still trying to say that we speak patois. No, culturally, we could be a crackpot. Like, we have access to so many different cultures, so that we can, like, so we could take on certain things. Like, sometimes I say gracias, and that's not my language, but and it's like, you know, we say bomba clot and all that other stuff, which I can't really say on air, but I can, I guess, because not many people know what it is. Yes, they do. Whatever.
No, they do. You just told them that it's not a good word.
I mean,
no, but I get your point. Like, it is definitely one of those things where you can pull in like certain words from other languages, yes, but I don't speak it fluently. And it was just, it's the nature of social media at the end of the day. Like, it gives people access to put their voice out there in a public space where it probably should have just stayed in the drafts. Like, it probably should have just stayed within your like little circle of people that think like you, because when you put it out into a space where Bermudians or another person that actually understands that culture, that context, and is explaining it to you, and when they respond, you take an attitude, but it's like, but you're not even the expert in this space to even come at people as hard as you can.
Talking about the test subject, and I'm the test subject. I could give you firsthand information, and you're rejecting it because you want to carry on. Okay.
Exactly. On that note, we're going to take a commercial break, and then we're going to bring in today's guest, B.L.A.C. We have him backstage. We're talking with him about being a music artist and what it's like to develop your own sound. So do make sure you do not go anywhere. Jack and I will be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. And if you're just joining us, our feel-good topic of the day is Bermudian Success Story. B.L.A.C, we will be discussing what it's like to be an artist and develop your unique sound. But before we bring today's guest in to the studio, we need you to help us welcome him to the show Good Day Bermuda by dropping any music emoji into the comments. We know that you all love to be a part of the show, so do make sure you drop your music emojis into the comments as we bring him in. Good morning, B.L.A.C.
Top of the morning, ladies.
Thank you for joining Jacky and I this morning. It's early on a Monday morning, but we want to give thanks to you for joining us.
Yes, because I saw your first status. I was like, oh, he's up and good and ready to go. I'm excited.
Up and out, you know
that. So let's start off with your actual name, B.L.A.C, right? B.L.A.C. What made you choose B.L.A.C, and how did you intend for people to pronounce it? Like, did you pronounce it B.L.A.C or Black?
Well, I intend for people to pronounce it B.L.A.C, the acronym, because it stands for Beyond Limitability Experience. So I always wanted people to realize that when they say it, but you can also say it as Black. You know? Just that when people choose to style it out sometimes, they have to say, like maybe they didn't use to say, just to say that every time. But yeah.
That is interesting because I pronounced it Black. I didn't know what it stood for, to be honest. Like, I do see the dots, so I do understand that it represents something, but I guess I never really took the time to ask, like, hey, what does it actually mean? So thank you for sharing that. Now, we often talk about nature versus nurture. So how did you fall in love with making music and the art of it? Because we know it's an art form. It's not just like, something you can wake up and do when you can.
Exactly. Well, I've always been into music. Like, I've always been into music. So it's like, I used to play rackets at first. I had a little song. I used to play in the bathroom, had my rackets and all that. Song was mainly Darius. And it just kind of elevated from there because I ended up getting Barkley and not a few people, and they was into music before me. But they really put into perspective that I wanted to be an artist because it was a form of expression. It was a way to talk to people without having to actually talk to people. People would just feel your vibe, apart from you having to actually, I don't know, sit down and have a conversation. I feel like I got more things off my chest through being an artist than just having to talk to you in a conversation for some reason.
Cute. I love her in that. You are a little quiet, so I'm not sure if your fingers covering the mic or if you could just pull away from it a little bit, just so that we could get
Yeah.
you a little bit louder because you sound a little quiet. I mean, I can hear you.
You can hear me clear now, or you guys want me to speak up louder?
You're gonna have to yell into the mic. Yell into the mic. Sorry, I had to.
Yell into the mic. Yeah, I
All
can
right.
hear you. Just feel it out. Volume into it, yeah.
Okay, you might have to. Are you getting sound from your headphones?
Mm-hmm.
We might try and disconnect the headphones and see how that works. But while we're doing that, I do want to slip into our next question because I've seen you have a few collaborations and obviously they're exciting to me. You always pick, I don't know how you pick them, if people come to you, if you go to them, but if you can let us know how you come about having these collaborations with these other amazing artists like yourself.
All right, first of all, can you hear me now?
That is way better.
Okay, yeah, it was the headphones.
Okay.
The collaborations, a lot of the times people come to me with the idea and they already have it in mind how they want it, and then it's just up to me to kind of just do my 16. But sometimes I'll have an idea of my own if I'm working on a particular project for a particular song, because I'm already hired these people over and over, so I know exactly what I'm looking for when I'm starting a project or starting a song. But as far as the collabs go, I just end up linking up with people that I mesh well with, type thing. Like I just don't collab with anybody. You know what I mean? I feel like they gotta be at least serious about what they're doing, at least trying to put the music out there on the internet for other people to purchase and buy. It just can't be just a song because you like me as an artist or you just want to do a song with me. Like to me, that don't cut it for me no more. It's gotta have purpose. And a lot of these songs that we do, it needs to be something about it that connects with people more than it just being a song. Like, you know, I wanted to speak to people. I wanted to give people this good vibe. Like, I really want to be the song of the night where you talk about it. Yeah, you remember that time we was at so and that song came on and we like just turned way up. Like, it's like I want to be a vibe like that. So I'm always looking for that collab and looking for that energy to put out that people could really feel and like really vibe with. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I love that because you mentioned purpose, and I feel like a lot of people tend to want to be a musician, whether it's a rapper or a singer. I don't know what other terms labels they can get, but they want to be that person. Like they want to be the person that's in the front. But can you speak more about your purpose and like why that's so important for you when you are deciding the people that you want to collaborate with? Because it's one thing to say, oh, I want to be a rapper because I'm really good at rhyming or I can speak really fast, whatever the case may be. But it's another thing to actually connect to your purpose. So can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's well, when it comes to connecting to the purposes, I'm had a few experiences with me which made me realize that what I do with my music, it really affects people. So I'm been in different environments where I'm really noticed that I'm not just doing it because I like to put the song out and I like how it sounds and stuff. It actually helps people. It actually changes the way people would think sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? Some people's real hard on themselves. So sometimes I go really in depth with how I feel in my own situations, and it actually relates to a lot of other people's situations also. So through having these experiences and all that, it's just to be more in depth with my lyrics and stuff. It kind of just showed me a different way of writing apart, because before I used to just write because I'm like, yeah, this hers can be something that I'll just catch the earth. It's just be something that they're up to. But at the same time, it always needs to have substance. Like you said, it needs to have a purpose, because if not, you're just creating anything, and then it's not no connection. There's no real energy. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, it's like I just go about it in a different way. You know what I mean? It's a long time to get to this point, though, to be very honest. Like, writing ain't really easy straight off the bat.
Right.
You know, it takes it's a skill that you acquire over time. Definitely.
Do you have a creative space? Like some people, when it comes to creating artists, like actual artists, they have a studio where they will go and they will, sketch out and they just release onto their canvas. What does your creative space look like? Do you go sit by the water? Do you sit at the beach? Do you go into like one of our parks and just isolate? Do you sit on your couch? Are you sitting off your brethren?
Nah. My creative space is my mind. You know what I mean? A lot of times I'll get a beat and I'll close my eyes to it and I'll listen to it over and over. I'll probably listen to a beat like sometimes over like 30 times just on repeat. Just listen to it, listen to it, listen to it. I probably wrote a song in my head about 50 times before I actually start writing, because it's just giving me all different vibes. So I'm just going through it, so it's never really a creative space. Studio is my favorite space and environment to be in. But as far as the creativeness from that, I don't really get it from being in the studio. It's just when I'm in the studio, I'm able to record it right away. But initially, it's just all in my mind. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's my place. I just go deep within myself and really take on the song, really see where it's going. Like, what's the direction of this beat? Like, because you could write anything, but it's what's gonna matter to me in the end.
I know Terry can see the excitement on my face because we are watching hip hop evolution of hip hop.
We never get it right. It's fine.
I know. There's actually a guy, and I can't remember his name right now, but there's a guy that says that he doesn't write down the song until it is finished. So somebody that was actually going over his notebook and his lyrics realized that there weren't any scratches like being removed or replaced. And I just think that I have to send you the episode that it is, because he was one of the greatest that made a movement, and for you to have that same connection, that is insane. Like, sorry, I just had to keep it.
It was definitely either episode 1 or 2, because that's all I got. And I remember the exact story. I want to say it was Grandmaster Cass or one of the Grandmaster names, but I when you were sharing your story as well, B.L.A.C. I definitely made that connection as well. Now, you've been featured on a few major websites. Can you talk to us about those features and how did it feel to accomplish that? Because 21 Square Mile Bermuda, we don't always make it onto some of these platforms. So can you share a little bit about that?
Well, it always helps to have somebody in your corner, and you can't do this by yourself. So a lot of the times it may look like people's out here doing it by themselves, but you definitely got someone behind you doing the work that you can't do, making the connections that you can't really, or you don't really have access to. Mm-hmm. So I had to get a PR. A PR actually got me on all the sites and stuff because I had the album coming out, so she had something to work with. Shout out to Lisa. What's Lisa's last name? I can't even remember Lisa's last name. I know.
If she's watching,
Lisa,
she knows
Lisa Prasad. Lisa Prasad. Sorry. Yeah, she's a good PR. Definitely, she has her clients back for sure, and she really works hard in getting us in these on these sites and stuff. Definitely, but having a PR is like half the battle because they're definitely doing the work that you can't do. Mm-hmm. They do the write-ups for you. They make sure everything sounds right, word it right, and it's presented well for people to really understand where you're coming from.
I love that. Before Jacky, you go, because I just think that sometimes we miss and I use the collective we because everyone kind of comes across like they want to be a rapper, they want to be a singer. They miss that it's more than just creating the music or putting that song out there. There is actually an entire ecosystem around
Definitely.
being a musician. So if you don't become the star, you don't have to be the star. You can, if you're good at writing, you could be the PR person and get your artists on all of these platforms, and then you reap the benefits. So just wanted to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
I do want to come back to this conversation, but I do want to switch gears a little bit to one of my other favorite things that you do, and you have merchandise. So you're a designer / I don't know how you want to call it, but you do clothing, and I keep meaning to message you about my order because I want to order some stuff. But if you can let us know how you got into that space and what we look forward to getting from you, what you have to offer, all that jazz.
Well, being an artist, you usually need merchandise to go along with your music, right? And I just figured with my music, I needed the merchandise that wasn't just merchandise, but it connects you to my platforms, because all my stuff's all online and stuff. So it's like, what better way to connect your music with your clothing than to have like a QR code that people could scan and it takes you directly to your album or your project. Now, apart from that, I also like fashion, but to keep it simple, I do like the most minimalistic things with my line, and I just keep it simple so you could wear it more than once. It's not all graphic and all that. But with that said, instead of having like Black Triangle music on clothing, because that's what merchandise usually has, like your artist name and stuff. What's still a small pool on her? A lot of people wouldn't really be into wearing your artist name per se on them down her, like out all the time and stuff, right? So I said I need to come up with an actual brand, an actual logo that represents me, myself, as well as where I come from, without saying Bermuda, without having the long tail, without having Bermuda on it and all that, but something that really is something stronger than that and still depicts where I'm from. And that's how I came up with Atlantic 9. Mind you, I came across many different ways of doing it, but I ended up with Atlantic 9, which is for the 9 parishes in the middle of the Atlantic. So that's really it. And right now, I didn't have too much this year. Mainly, I had a lot of summer stuff, but for winter, I ain't really got too much. It's really like a sample phase right now for Atlantic 9. So I'm just in the sampling phase. If a lot of it's a nice order I'm putting together, a nice little line that I'm putting together, and I'm gonna go about it in a different way this year.
We love it, and we just want to put this out there. If there are any female related items that you have and you need 2 women to wear the samples, Jacky and I humbly nominate ourselves to be a part of it.
I'm got you. All right, I'm got you. I'll take care of you.
I love it because I do have an Atlantic 9 hat. I love it. And it's like, it's not a mustard color. I don't know like how to explain the color, but it's like that yellowy green color. And I absolutely love it because it's not a mustard color, because I'm so used to seeing like mustards or bright yellow. And it's like this in-between color. And I absolutely love it. So if you haven't purchased anything Atlantic 9, do make sure you do. So where can people purchase it? Because you did mention online, but is there anywhere on the island that they can purchase?
At the moment, no. It's nowhere on the island right now. But I'm working on a couple places that I'm in talks with right now to get it to this areas. They're all in Hamilton though. Definitely.
Okay.
I have to say that Black's towels is actually my favorite towel. I have washed it a few times and it's still the same vibrant colors, and it transfers perfectly into a blanket. So if you're not swimming and out summering anymore, it's still like the perfect carry around blanket. I take it almost everywhere. I look like that kid I look like Charlie Brown with my blanket because it goes everywhere with me. I love it. It's so soft, but it's absorbent. And I'm sitting here selling it. But at the same time, if you guys don't have any and Black has some left, get on it because these things are so wow.
It's lit. I'm actually got a good bit. I'm actually got a good bit. I got some new ones actually.
Oh, you didn't tell me.
Yeah, some new designs. Yeah, the
I'm
fire
excited.
too.
Well,
The
Christmas
fire.
is coming up. I know everyone's just like, it's October. No, Christmas is coming up.
Christmas is
And
here.
honestly, I feel like gift baskets are the best way to go because it's personalized. So you can buy a few of your items and then make personalized gift baskets, which is what I'm doing. It makes my life easier. I know what everybody needs because my buyers list has gotten smaller because, you know, COVID has made everything a little bit more intimate.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. My bank account is just like, yes, 10 people. Woo woo. But I definitely plan to hit you up for some towels because after Christmas, it's spring. And then after spring, it's summer. And, you know, yeah, your towels are versatile anyway. They're
Thank
good for all year round.
Thank you. Thank
No
you.
problem. I just want to remind the audience, if you have any questions or comments for B.L.A.C, make sure you drop them in the comments. I do want to kind of go back to your music career and probably also the fashion. What have been some hurdles you've had to face on your journey and overcome, like in both arenas? Like, what were they and how did you overcome them?
You can repeat that one more time?
Oh, sure. So I was asking, what challenges have you kind of experienced throughout your journey and how have you overcome them?
Well, with the music, I don't know, it's kind of expensive to do things down there. So that's one of the main challenges of being an artist in Bermuda. And you're always paying for yourself, right? It's like it's not like you got backing from any label or anything like that. So it's always out of pocket. So it's with the amount of content that I have and the amount of hours that I have to be in the studio for, it gets pricey. And as far as the clothes go, it's just been hard finding a legit manufacturer to kind of trust to deliver your line because sometimes you'll get a lot of defective stuff within your orders.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly why I'm in the sample phase like I am. I've been doing samples for like probably half the year, like back and forth, because I'm like, we're not getting through this again. I'm definitely gonna have what I want. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's always been the struggle with that. It's just finding a manufacturer to stick to because I've been through about 5 of them so far. But yeah, with the music is really the money aspect of it because it's just kind of expensive. Sometimes some studios are like $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Some studios are 75. You can find some that's like 50. You know what I mean? But you kind of get what you pay for in a sense.
Right.
And I also just like working in areas where I connect with the engineer because if you know where I'm going with my stuff, you know my son, then it makes it easier. Also, sometimes you got a little break from all the times you actually paid and you're a consistent, loyal customer type thing. You know what I mean? They take care of you. So it's not like it's all the time you're just coming out of pocket. But you know, if they like working with you, they work with you. So
that's interesting. I mean, everything in Bermuda is expensive, right? It doesn't matter what space you're in. Generally speaking, you're probably gonna pay you're gonna pay premium, because everyone has to eat at the end of the day. So we have this question from Million Simons. Do you write for others? Mylan, excuse me. Do you write for others?
It's Mylan.
Million.
Sorry, no. We know Mylan. That's why I'm laughing.
I'm like, I don't know, child.
Very well.
I have written for others. I don't really write for others, though. I prefer to write for myself, but if need be, I will. Usually, if I do write for others, it's actually on like one of my songs, my projects. So it's kind of how I would want that verse to go type thing. Mainly if it's a singer, though. If you're a rapper, you kind of just have to bring your in vibe, bring your in energy. But if it's singing, I kind of know exactly how I want you to sing on it. You could do it in your own way, but it's just do it with this flow type thing, like, you know, but hit your ranges and all that. I usually coach you through it, but yeah, And I have written for people before out in Atlanta, but that was years ago. Had to do about 10 songs for these girls out there.
Wow.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, time is up, and honestly, Ryan, it's been sorry, Black.
I was like, wait, you just switched it. Like this whole conversation is B.L.A.C. and the last minute. Oh,
I
I'm
did it
just
on
the
purpose,
government.
guys. I did it on
That's how
purpose.
jockey is. That's how jockey is. Like, you know what I mean?
I was gonna say jockey. I can't stand them. No, but I do love you. Black, it's been amazing having you. I will continue to pick your brain off screen. But for those of you that don't have your special contact, like myself, how can people get in contact with you to keep this conversation going, to continue to support you and all things Black?
Just hit me in my DM at Black Triangle. You know what I mean? That's my Insta. Just hit me in my DM.
He said
Well,
it
thank
does
you
go down
so
in the DM.
much. It goes down in the DMs. It goes down.
You
I
know
see a
that?
lot of people get married from being in the DMs. But no, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to having you back soon.
Bless your hearts. Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you for having me.
Peace. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then Jacky and I will be back with our feel good vibe of the day. Let us know your thoughts on today's conversation with B.L.A.C. in the comments, and we'll be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
Welcome back to Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pizza House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terri Tuku alongside Jacky Lambert. Make sure to give us a reaction if you're watching on Facebook and you haven't already. To those of you on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe before the end of this episode. And to all of our tweets over there on Twitter, make sure you run up this heart and hit the retweet button. Jacky, clearly you know B.L.A.C. in real life. So outside of you knowing him, what did you think of today's episode?
So I actually love listening to people's journeys. Sometimes they're sad, but it's the triumph after, because he's still successful, right? So he still found a way to pivot, to maneuver around the system that wasn't working for him, to be sure that he was successful. And I love hearing stuff like that. Like, you know, people that just haven't given up, they haven't quit, but they found different ways to make it happen.
Exactly. And I think even he's talking about the manufacturers as it relates to his clothing. It's like, because a lesser person would have said, like, you know, forget this, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not that serious. Like, but, and I also liked when he shared that he didn't put his name on his merchandise, because I have seen some artists where it's like, I don't want to wear your name. Like, I like you, yes, and I don't mind purchasing your merch, but I want to be able to wear this outside of going to a concert. Like, I would love to be able to like have this as part of my wardrobe forever. And that's really why I like his Atlantic 9 brand, because it is something that represents for me. To like, I cannot wait. I haven't been able to wear it away because Rana, but I cannot wait to wear it away. And like, people ask me like, what's that brand?
Exactly. And I love how he designed the 9, because if it's upside down, it looks like a B, right? So it's still him. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but it's still him. And I love that it's a piece of the island and a piece of him all wrapped up in one.
And then, so you're going to have to say this name again, because I already forgot how you pronounce it.
Mylan.
I was going to say Million. Yep. Nope. Sure. The evolution of hip hop is definitely amazing. I cannot wait to continue watching it. We're probably going to, well, not probably, we are going to be talking about seasons 2, 3, and 4 at some point. So that's just your hint and reminder to make sure you continue watching this series, or rewatch it if you haven't watched it in a while. It is time for joke time with Jacky. If this is the first time you're watching this, Jacky's going to tell me some jokes. I'm going to try my best to guess it. And really, it's really about how I figure out the answer, or when Jacky tells me the answer, because it's the best. So drop your comments in the comment section. That was kind of redundant, but drop your laughing emojis into the comments, or react if you're watching on Facebook. Over to you, Jack.
Okay. What country's capital is growing the fastest?
Growing the fastest? I don't know.
Ireland. Every day it's doubling.
Yo, sometimes I don't know where she gets this stuff. Like, I really don't. I don't.
Oh my god. Okay, I have one more joke because it's slightly long. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lady applies to a job at the bank. She gets the job. She started on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But she also lost the job on Friday. An old man walks into the bank and says, "Hi, can you check my balance?" And she pushes him over. Not that balance, ace girl. My bank account balance.
Yo, that was probably her first customer too. That was probably her first customer. She
and
started
it's
at
old, so you know he's fragile and he's like, he's probably so confused. Like,
she started at 9 o'clock and ended at 9:01. I just cannot.
Man, we're gonna have to escort you out. Now you gotta go for assault and battery of an old person. Like, geez, miss, you started off so great.
As always, we hope that today's feel good vibe of the day has you ready to make it a great one. Thank you for watching this episode of Good Day Bermuda, supported by Pete's House and Aliana's Restaurant. I'm Terry Tuku alongside Jackie Lambert. We trust we'll see you tomorrow for more feel good conversations. Until the next episode, peace and have a good day, Bermuda.